Okay, so let's start the first topic, that is extension method. Extension method is like just enabling new methods on an existing type. So what does this mean? So let's take an example. I'm assigning one string here. If I want to print the length of the string, so if I do .NET run, I will get 6. So guys, just one tip here. I have not typed .NET run here because I have installed one extension. Let me show you that extension is terminal command keys. After I have installed this, so I went to this codes keyboard shortcuts and have clicked on this JSON. If you see this, I have given my own shortcuts here. So based on that, I'm running. So this is how I get the output 6. Now if I want to create one extension method that will print triple the length of the string. So for this, what I need to do? So the very first step is to create one static class here. So public static class, I can give any name, whichever I wish. Now it should have the static method inside it. And as we told that it should return triple the length of the string, so the output has to be integer. So public static int, let's name it as triple the length. Now in this method, the very first parameter will start with this keyword, and after this, on what type you are trying to create the extension method. So because I am creating the extension method on string, so it has to be mentioned here string. Now what does that do? It will return string into length into 3. Now if I want to call this extension method, all I need to do is str dot when I type, you see here triple the length, I get this intelligence here. So now if I want to print this, if you see this, I shall be getting output as 18. See this? So 6 is for the string dot length and 18 is for triple the length. Okay, so now let's mix the concept of delegate and extension method. Let me quickly give you an example of delegate. I'll create a class, my delegate. Let me create the delegate. So it will be access modifier followed by the delegate keyword, then the return type, then the delegate name. So multiply by 5, something I can give here. Then let the input be an integer as well. So I'll create a similar method that takes as an input as an integer and output as an integer. So public, then integer, okay. So all I need to do here is obj equal to I have to create this as a static method. Now to invoke this, I need to do obj dot invoke. I can pass here 25. So the output should give me 125. See, 125. Also, I no need to write this dot invoke. I can directly pass the parameter without using invoke. So I'll pass a different input here. Now this should give me 75. 125 for this line and 75 for this line. Now let's see if we can write something inline instead of pointing to a method which we have just written if we can do something inline. So what we can do, we can copy this same delegate name, then create one instance here equal to new of multiply by 5 delegate, then int of num return into 5. Now how to invoke this? I can do the exactly the same way. obj2, I pass some input as 10. Now it should give me the output as 50. So 50 we are getting. Now let's see if we can use in a single line using expression body. So I can create this obj3 is equal to num to 5. Even this also can be invoked in the same way. Now this would give me output as 60. So till now what we have noticed is like we have created our own delegate. You see the multiply by 5. It is we who have created this delegate. But .NET gives you one flexibility, the advantage of using the inbuilt delegate. So what are those inbuilt delegates? So it can be either action delegate or func predicate. Now what is action delegate? Action delegate is where input will be always be there, but output is always void. Func, if you see here, func delegate input and output both should be there. And predicate is where input can be anything, but output is always boolean. Now, if I see this example where we are doing this multiply by 5, we are giving input as an integer and output as an integer. So the but obvious delegate which we can use is func delegate. So func of int comma int obj4 I can give. I can call the exact same way as line number 16. I give input as 11. Now the output should be 55. See, the output is 55. So this is how the func delegate is called. The input is integer, output is also an integer. The last parameter is the output. It can be like there are some 17 overloaded methods. In this case, for example, I'm giving an example. In this case, the input will be integer and integer. Output is also an integer. The last parameter is always an integer. If you see, I'm going into the definition of func delegate. The last parameter out of region, rest all will be the input. Now similarly, if I want to create action delegate, so I can pass integer as an input. I'm just giving an example here. So as it returns always void, so no need of output here. So I can just simply do console.writeLine. I don't return anything. So I can use obj5. This input doesn't make any sense here, but I'm just giving an example here. So this is how the action delegate is called. Now how predicate delegate will be called? Predicate of int comma boolean, because it is always giving me boolean, we know that, so no need to pass here as well. Integer obj6 equal to, I can return here true because it is a boolean, so I can print obj6 passing any input here. I'm just giving an example where it shows me that predicate delegate prints an boolean as an output and action is just not returning anything. It is written in void. So if I print this, so after 55, if you see this output, I don't return anything and predicate is returning true. Okay, now let's create one class, public class employee. I'll create two properties. Right? Let me initialize with list of employees here. I'll create two more employees. Now, if I want to print the employees whose salary is greater than 10,000, how will you do it? Where filtered employees is equal to list of employees dot where e dot salary greater than 10,000. Then for each p dot name. So this is how you will print the employee's name whose salary is greater than 10,000. So I get Abhishek and Abhilas. Now I need exactly the similar line, but I want my own extension method. I want here my way. How will you do it? Method. So before that, let's go to this where method and see how it is done. If you see here, this is also an extension method because I find this parameter here and it is on type of enumerable of t source. And it takes a func delegate as well. If you see, it takes t source and returns me boolean, right? And you get the filtered t source, enumerable of t source. So even we can also exactly mimic how this where method is, how the where method is like implemented. To create this extension method, the very first condition we need to have the static class. Then you need to have the static method. So because the filtered employees will return me list of employees, that's so enumerable of employees, so it will be enumerable of employee. And what is the method name? My way. And you need to take this and it is on this type. And if you see, okay, let's see, this will be employee list. And the second parameter is nothing but it's a delegate. It's a func delegate. It takes employee and there is a comparison that is happening here and the return type should be boolean. So what I can make here, func of employee comma boolean predicate. Now let me create one temporary list of employee. I'm looping on all the employee here, and if the predicate satisfies, then I need to add to the temporary list here. and this temporary list is returned to this variable. Now I can do exactly the same thing where the for each loop we already did. Let's print it. I should be getting exactly the same name, Abhishek and Abhilas. So we have implemented our own extension method mywhere. But one thing to notice here, we have used this func delegate. Even in the where method, if you see here, they have used this func delegate. But we have read there is a delegate which if it returns always a boolean, then we can use the predicate. So why to use func? So we could have directly used the predicate. So I'll change it here. Instead of func, I'll make it predicate. When it is predicate, you no need to pass the output because it is but obvious that it is returning boolean. So let me clear and print again. You will see the same output. Abhishek and Abhilas, whose salary is greater than 10,000. Now, if you see this, we have created a temporary list, and based on the condition of if the predicate satisfies the condition, then we are adding to the temporary list and returning the list. So we can avoid this by using the yield keyword. So all you need to do is comment this line. If it satisfies, yield return, save it. So if I print the output now, you will get the same output Abhishek and Abhilas. One thing to note down here is like if you can ask me why you have created extension method on IEnumerable, whereas where you have created the list of employees, right? Because list ultimately it inherits from IEnumerable. That is the reason it is working. Even you can do here list, you will get exactly the same output. I print it again. You get the same output. So thank you guys for staying with me till the end. So do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.